Cultural appropriation. How are we? Gather in, mate, gather in. Start away, huh?
Go ahead, questions away, guys.
Stephen, heading into this year, just what's different, or does it feel different? The training camp feel different than obviously in past seasons for you?
I mean, a bit of a loaded question, mate. Yeah, obviously we got different players and whatnot. The feel itself, no. One thing this organisation does really well is, you keep consistent with the values. Doesn't matter really who the players are. You still got to uphold, and we got to say we still represent Oklahoma, the people here. So it ain't like this player leaves. Oh, it's all good. No. We still have a duty to the people that we have to fulfill, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Stephen, I just wanted to ask you, what was it like for? Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, above ground, mate. Above ground. Yeah.
Oh, what was it like for you to hear that Russell got traded? I mean, since you spent your entire career with him, what was that like for you?
I mean, it's obviously tough. You get it's going to hit you somewhere, no matter who the player is. Whoever I've had played with on the Thunder organization, like I've always had like somewhat of a relationship. So it's always hard to get. It's just a shit part about the game that we play. You get traded, but that's just comes with it. But in terms of like personal relationships, like it just affects that a little bit. Still going to be there, but then you're like, I don't get to see him as often. So yeah, obviously it's a bit tough, mate. But you deal with it, mate. Still above ground.
On a lighter note, is this the year we're going to see you step out and start shooting some threes?
I don't know, mate. We got to, still focus. Keep focus on what the game plan is. If that's the thing, then yeah, I'm not going to just come out and be like, maybe now's a good time to jack up a couple threes, mate. Like it's got to be calculated, This ain't like Rick's in a basketball. He's got to be rather, it's still taken very seriously, It shouldn't be just like this. Time to experience stuff, mate. No. Still got our whole thing, because we're still competitors, yeah. So we're still going to try and win the games, obviously. Come out, play hard, work hard, So, yeah.
Stephen, right here. As a spokesperson for beef, what are your thoughts on Chris Paul's plant-based diet?
That's a controversial. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, I'm sticking by meat, mate. I'm a huge fan of meat. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of meat. Either way, quite impressive though. The stuff, the science behind it. It's pretty impressive. We'll say that. But I don't know. Might be a little locker room debate. Yeah. We'll see, mate. We'll see.
Okay, yeah, Cliff Brutt, Associated Press, over here. So just your thoughts on having Chris Paul as a teammate, and just your impressions of him over the years, and then being able to play with him now.
My impression over the years, he's just like a little court general, He seems like he knows how to control pace really, really well, which is a huge deal, especially when you're playing with a very, very big deal. Yeah, just take that for now, mate. Obviously there's a long list of things you can be all day, but yeah, it'll be good to see what, just kind of what he does here,
Stephen, Nerlens, right?
Oh.
Nerlens mentioned.
Hello, by the way.
Hi, good to see you. Nerlens mentioned that your offense is going to be shifting, and obviously it has to with new personnel. Have you gotten a sense yet of how different your offense is going to be, and in what ways you're going to tweak it?
Well, it's the NBA itself is shifting anyway. I mean, you get the whole everyone's stretching threes and stuff like that. Obviously, that's the face value sort of thing, yeah. But how the game is evolving itself is that there's going to be less pick and rolls, right? There's more handoff situations, right? Yeah, but you understand the difference, eh? Yeah. So there's more handoffs rather than pick and rolls in today's game, which just it's just different, and it's a lot more difficult. So a lot more teams are running that. I mean, I can't give you because I mean we haven't started training camp yet. I mean we practice some stuff, but it's kind of across the board. So in terms of our offense, it will be probably along with that trend, Yeah. Words.
Stephen, so you're the veteran on the team now as far as being with the organization a while. We got a bunch of new faces. What are some things that you're excited about passing on down to that next generation and sort of continuing the culture that we've built here?
What am I excited about?
Yeah.
And passing on? I mean, it's always good just to meet new people, mate. Listen to their stories, where they come from. Oh, amazing backstories, these players. Some of the stuff they go through and how they came about. There's not many people that make it to the NBA, so got some pretty good stories, mate. So it'll be good to just learn about that. In terms of what I pass on, whatever sticks. There might be a bit of a, I don't know, cultural difference or whatever, but hey, if they walk away with something from me, even if it's just like, oh, he says mate, it's like, good enough, mate. Yeah, good enough. It's good enough for me.
Stephen, piggybacking off that a little bit, when you think back to your rookie year in 2014, you had Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant in the locker room. Like, are there anything in particular that you've taken from that year when you were learning amongst all-star vets that you have kind of taken from that year as your career has gone along that you will probably pass along to Justin Patton, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just to show them the way basically to make it in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean the formula is pretty. I mean the formula is pretty simple. Obviously, you just got to work hard, be consistent. There's all those sorts of things. But yeah, it's the consistent thing that's difficult. Like, you could come across, someone could tell you like, oh, there's a secret sauce. You can't get around it, mate. You got to be very consistent and it ain't just like coming in and just getting up mindless shots, if that makes sense. Like, you have to be really focusing in on what you're trying to get better. That's the biggest difference. I actually learned that from Nick Collison, actually. Just the attention to detail is what you're going to differ. And then obviously your talent comes in, your body comp, all that sort of yada yada. So you control that. If you could be consistent with how much focus training you do, obviously put yourself in the best position, I feel. No. Could be wrong though, mate. Just taking a stab at it.
Two more questions. Go ahead, Eric.
Stephen, with Russell leading this team for as long as he has, who leads this team now? Is it guys like you and Andre who've been there the longest, or is it a guy like a Chris Paul who comes in and you say is a floor general?
What do you mean by leading?
I mean, you could probably tell me what makes a leader of an NBA team. I mean, whether it's something that Russell did or something that you see from other guys or even yourself.
Yeah.
Who would be the leaders and what would make the leaders of this team now?
Well, it depends on. I think we might be thinking of the same thing. So when I see a leader, there's obviously you have a team, and obviously their skill sets vary, right? So if you have a leader, it depends on who it is. Like, you get someone who leads from the back, get someone who leads from the front. Doesn't really matter. The main thing is that everyone's on the same page, right? More so than just, oh, this guy, he's the one, he's a spokesperson. And Russ has been that guy, which is good. Like, he's ran it perfectly. But when you say like, oh, this person does, like, who's going to lead it exactly, you don't really choose. You know what I mean? You don't really, like, I ain't going to just come in and start trying to be like Russ, if that makes sense. Because that's not who I am. I think it'll just be injustice to people, because I'm just trying to fake it, if that makes sense. I'm more of a quiet guy. Make sure, I'll talk to you, make sure you get it just a bit outside of the circle. Does that make sense? So that could be seen as being a leader in itself. But regardless, the main thing is that everyone's on the same page. If you could accomplish that through everyone being a leader or in their own way, then cool. Because we expect the rookies to show, say the people that have been there for 2 years, we expect them to be somewhat of a leader in that sense, right, to the rookies, as well as the veterans and so forth. So, yeah. That's why I was asking, like, what do you mean exactly, mate? There's long list, mate. Long list. Yeah. Does that make sense? Confuse the shit out of people, what? Fucking hell, mate, yeah. He's looking at me like I'm speaking bloody.
But I don't play for an NBA team, so I don't know what goes on leadership in the locker room. I think you explained that well.
Yeah, but I guess it's just normal workplace as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's normal workplace stuff. I mean, there's a hierarchy organizationally, but in itself, if you're trying to accomplish something, you don't really look at that. It's more just coming together, same page, forward. Body language helps.
Stephen, wondering if you happen to hear any rumors in the offseason about your name and trades. Did you catch any of that?
What was that, sorry, mate?
Did you happen to catch any rumors, like we heard, about your name being attached to trade rumors? And do you just deflect that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's look, it ain't this thing where you just read about it and like, oh, that's unfortunate, and then you're just surprised that it happened to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, if it's happening to someone else, then obviously there's a chance that it might happen to you. Like, that's just, it's common sense, mate. But yeah, I mean, it still affects you in some way, you know, because you're human. You know what I mean? And you care, like, you know, if you care about something like this, obviously I care about the organisation here. But again, we're here because we're trying to support the organisation itself, and the organisation needs to do well, right? So you have to keep that in mind, right? You're just here to help, and if you could place your brick, whatever you want to call it, you know, your little stuff on the history that it's about to create, then that's a privilege, you know. That's just cool. So even if they did trade me, I don't know, it's obviously just a huge honour, and I know with every player that's played here, it's been a huge honour to just contribute to the history that Oklahoma's making, because I think it is a very special organisation. Small markets doing really, really well for itself, you know. So I mean that's huge in itself.
Thank you, Stevie.
Answers, huh? Yeah. Sorry if I touch a phone. Thank you. See you well. Always a pleasure. Never a chore.